Hi, and hello, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, Internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you are doing well. And it's time for a review reaction to one of my older reviews. If you guys have been watching this channel closely, you may have noticed as of late, I've been going through the catalog of reviews I have compiled over the years, and I'm going over some of the bigger ones that are about 10 years old or so. And I wanted to go over this one from, me talking about Lana Del Rey's debut record, which was very polarizing at the time, Born to Die. And the reason being, not that I loved this record at the time, I didn't, and revisiting it for this video, it still hasn't really grown on me at all. I thought I would enjoy it for maybe like more nostalgic reasons in retrospect when I decided to listen to it again, but I think artistically and lyrically as well, like Lana is just at a different place right now, a much better place, mind you. Like I think her singing has gotten better. I think her songwriting has gotten better. The instrumentals that she tends to sing over have gotten a lot more tasteful. I think she's grown into her style as well, whereas this record, by comparison, I think sounds a lot like karaoke, where she is mostly kind of working through a put-on and throwing out a lot of these turns of phrase and vocal inflections that feel like I'm listening to a really bad pinup model act from, the mid-century, like, oh, I'm so bad. But look, Lana Del Rey's style, again, has proven to be very influential. She has had a lot of commercial and artistic staying power over the past 10 years. And once more, I think she has evolved quite a bit and has gotten a lot better. Look, I want to go through this review and see what I said about the record originally, see if I kind of vibe with everything or anything that I had said back then, or if there are some extra notes that I would like to add in retrospect. Let's do it. Lana Del Rey, Born to Die review from me. Let's go. Anthony Fantano here, Internet's busiest music nerd. And it's time for an album review. Lana Del Rey, Born to Die. Why am I whispering? Why am I whispering so much in this video? But now she's back with a new look and new singles, new album, new music video, and this complete unknown has blown up to a surprisingly huge level of popularity. And most of this happened on the back of the buzz of one single song. And shortly after video games kind of blew up, Lana was making all of these European television appearances. And it all kind of seemed like magic until people found out that it was Universal Music Group that was actually going to be releasing her forthcoming LP through itself and its subsidiaries Polydor and Interscope. So I guess with major label support, some PR, a viral video, and a sexy image built on Nancy Sinatra-inspired nostalgia, you can get exposure just about everywhere. I mean, so far I vibe with the review. I'm not really against the timeline or the accuracy of anything that I've said so far. I also like that I effectively did a balancing act here, kind of describing some of those label connections that people were skeptical of early on, but, didn't go as far as to be like, industry plant. And of course, this put a really nasty taste in a lot of people's mouths, saying, ooh, Lana's contrived, Lana's fake, Lana's manufactured. And, I think it's a little silly because there are a lot of artists on major labels that get praised in the indie blogosphere, and they rely on image too. So I don't totally see the issue from that angle. Wow, Anthony. Good job not taking the Lana Del Rey, I'm just going to hate Lana Del Rey for her vibe bait. I'm very happy that even 2012 me could, pick up on some nuance here and not just hate Lana for trying to bring this somewhat corny gangster Nancy Sinatra visual. I mean, as much as I am not really crazy about it, it certainly was not like the worst thing with this record. I mean, if this record was super well written, well sung, and well performed, and you still had that gangster Nancy Sinatra shit, I mean, fine, who cares? It's a good record. But that wasn't the case, and hopefully I kind of get into why that is soon, because we're about 3 minutes in, and I'm not talking about the music yet. And I think it turned around and bit everybody in the butt when Lana Del Rey did her biggest TV appearance yet on Saturday Night Live, and she pretty much bombed. She was off pitch, she had like no charisma, and her vocals were just kind of goofy. I feel like this is a memory in the Lana canon that a lot of hardcore fans, and even people who have become more and more of a fan of her stuff over time, have just completely erased from their memories. But that was like easily one of the most horrendous SNL performances ever. Sometimes the string arrangements are really ambitious. They really enhance a track, like the introduction to Born to Die or the song Lolita. Those intros with those strings are pretty beautiful. And the strings do a great job of helping out with the climaxes on these songs, like how Born to Die explodes toward the end. I mean, they do. There are some good and very powerful string arrangements on this LP, but like in retrospect, a lot of them just sound like bad sound beds from an over-budget rom-com. It does feel a little one-dimensional going back to it, but I could see here that I'm trying to praise some of the instrumental elements before I kind of get into the elements of the LP that I thought were not so great. I feel like too often strings in general are used to give a song depth and emotion and importance and just this feeling of epicness. But the thing is, no matter how much air freshener you spray, eventually you're gonna smell the crap. In a way, it does seem like the overblown arrangements are really just there to give Lana's really lack of vision on the lyrical side and the vocal side, like more urgency and just give it more punch, give it more something. But the strings can only go so far. They can only do so much. I feel like Lana has this little black book of lyrical cliches that she calls on whenever she needs to write a song, and they just kind of assemble into this tapestry that are her verses and choruses. Heartbreaks, Born to Die, Loving You Till the End of Time, Tears, Eyes, Walk on the Wild Side, You're No Good for Me, Light of My Life, Holding Me Tight, Kiss Me Hard in the Pouring Rain. I will say once again, I think Lana has kind of evolved past effectively what was this lyrical style of hers back in the day that felt more like just an amalgamation of random phrases that may be trying to like legitimately portray a personal experience or something that she went through. But the way it all assembled didn't really lend too much like detail or perspective to what she was singing about, and it just felt like a bunch of random idioms thrown together in some kind of lyric generator or something. And again, like the way that she writes and the way that she focuses on something topically has gotten a lot better, has gotten leagues better, in fact. Nancy Sinatra musically was a serious badass. She had her vulnerable moments, like the song Bang Bang, but the songs that she put out that were her biggest were the ones where she was the heartbreaker, and she got revenge on the people who broke her heart. Songs like These Boots Were Made for Walkin', I'm Not the Lovin' Kind, Sorry About That, How Does That Grab You? These are songs where Nancy Sinatra was owning her womanhood and being in control of herself and her feelings and what she was going to do with her life in a time when that was not really a mainstream idea. In contrast, Lana's biggest song is about trying to please and seduce her video game playing boyfriend. I think Lana has gotten over the years the short end of the stick a little bit, just like a tad, in terms of how she was painted out of the gate as like being this thing that was like pushing women back 10 years and anti-feminist and this, that, and the other. And while her views on that topic have been questionable, the gender roles and dynamics on this record, they are regressive. They're regressive as fuck. With that being said, like, you know, it wasn't nearly as, I think, end of the world or as even at some points nefarious as some people kind of painted it out to be. You know, I don't think Lana deserved to be sort of put out there as like, you know, enemy number one of feminism or anything. I'm curious as to how this album makes women feel. especially when a song like This Is What Makes Us Girls comes up, where that idea of partying and staying up late and skipping school and underage drinking is kind of reinforced as being bad. Like, when you're thinking of bad girls or women who are revolutionaries or misbehaving in a way, with Lana specifically at this point in her career, it was not in the sense of like, we're rebelling against society, we're rebelling against oppression, we're rebelling against societal expectations or presumptions on us because of our gender. When Lana sings about, or on this record frames, being a bad girl, it's not so much bad in that way. It's bad in the way where you're getting in trouble with your dad bad. You're getting grounded bad. You know, you're being naughty and you are getting a timeout bad, which is a different kind of bad. So yeah, I think the message here is kind of off. Is misguided, and if it is well-intentioned, that's not really communicated that well. But if this album was a bunch of tracks that were like Born to Die and Blue Jeans and Video Games, I think this might have been a pretty decent LP. Because on record, Lana Del Rey's voice, for the most part, is on pitch. And no, it's not, though. We're near the end of the review here, so it's pretty obvious, at least to me, what this thing is really missing so far. I mean, I didn't really go enough into like how awkward the combination of the Baroque pop strings and the hip hop production was, because I feel like that hasn't really aged all that well over the years. And I think that's very much been proven in the fact that Lana has pretty much like abandoned that. The song National Anthem actually has Lana Del Rey like rapping, and it's kind of awkward. I come your national anthem. This album is just kind of a bunch of songs that could have been really good, but they just end up being kind of ruined. They add up to something that just does not have a lot of lasting power. Wrong, Anthony. You were dead wrong. Generally, I like this review, though. Most of what I wanted to add was just stuff that, you know, is basically perspective that we have in retrospect 10 years since, you know, this record and review having come out. Interesting to reflect back, interesting to look into the past, interesting to think about Lana Del Rey's Born to Die. Thank you very much for watching. If you decided to click on this video, greatly appreciated. Love ya. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up, or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Lana Del Rey, forever.